Hello plant parents, how are you today? I hope you're doing good. I decided for today's video that I will try to help all the new plant parents that are maybe thinking of buying their first plants and caring for them, but they are a little bit hesitant on which plants to buy because they're afraid they're gonna kill them. Stick with me and I will give you 5 easy to grow plants and to take care of, and I'm sure that it will be your first baby steps on becoming an amazing grandparent, plant parent. Hi, welcome to Greentopia. My name is Maya and I'm a plant addict. So every plant parent has to start somewhere, right? So I was thinking, okay, we need to help the community, we need to make more greater plant parents, so what can I do to help? And I decided I will give you 5 suggestions for plants that are super easy to care for, and I'm sure this will be your first steps and that you will be very successful. So one of the first plants that I wanted to mention is the so-called ZZ plant. To be honest, it's not one of my favorite. I don't even have it in my collection and I don't think I ever will. But one of the reasons that I might not like it so much is just because it's very common and I see it in a lot of office spaces and it's just not appealing. But you know, it's just personal taste and I don't have anything else against it. And if you decide that this one will be suitable for you, just go for it, because as I said, it's super easy to care for. So basically, ZZ plant, why is it so easy to care for, is because it doesn't really care what kind of light condition it has, which is amazing for plant parents which maybe don't have a bright place or spot to put it on, or even if you are perhaps looking for a plant which would be available in your bathroom. That is also one of the options that you can go for, because this plant, seriously, it can be in a really bright, sometimes even direct sunlight, but it can also grow in a very low light. And if you have it in the bathroom without windows or office without windows, it can grow only with a little help of fluorescent light. So that is one criteria which you might be interested in, that it doesn't require a very bright spot. Secondly, it doesn't require a lot of watering. Sometimes it can even go, weeks without water, which I think a lot of parents, are quite happy to hear about, because a lot of times it happens that you just forget to water your plants, especially when you are not used to having a living being in your room. So even if you forget to water it, for weeks or for days, it will not die. And it's quite slow growing, but it also depends on the light conditions. But also when it does grow, it all comes from the soil. So the stems don't go like this, but they all thrive or grow from the pot, from the soil. So in case your pot gets smaller and you want to, have them separated, it's super easy to do. And you can even have 2 pots when the plant is adult and you want to repot it. So this is a very useful tip. Yeah, so in case you are a new plant parent and you are so excited to have a new plant, ZZ plant will be giving you signals if you will be overwatering it, because sometimes we are just so excited about our plants that we just want to give them a lot of attention and care, and we quickly may overwater them. And if that happens, you will see the leaves going a little bit yellowish or a little brownish, which means that you need to stop watering it for a while, because it's just not thirsty anymore. And also it appreciates if it has a well-drained soil. So first of all, make sure that the soil is suitable, that the water goes right through it, that the drainage holes are sufficient. And then secondly, if you see the yellowing leaves, then just stop watering it for a while and it should be okay. The second one that I wanted to mention is Yucca. I have Yucca not in my apartment but in my office, and I don't really care that much about her. I love her, but in the office, you're occupied with other stuff, so I don't give her much care, but it's still thriving. Because Yucca can be indoor or outdoor plant, so it's okay with a little bit less water, sometimes even going a little bit dry, so it's drought resistant. The soil mixture doesn't have to be really rich. It's okay for Yucca to be in a very poor soil, Just make sure that it's well drained, that the soil should nevertheless be quite heavy, because yuccas can grow pretty high and pretty tall, and they need a soil that will be able to sustain them so that they can root themselves inside. But about like the water regime should be really scarce, and always make sure that the soil gets dry first before you water it next time. About the lighting conditions, it's because it's coming from the dry regions, it's very accustomed to the sun, so it thrives in bright spaces, direct or indirect sun. And for it goes for all the plants about the light that you will see. In case you have them in direct light and the leaves start going a little bit brownish, or like they seem like they're burning, that's exactly what's happening. So it shouldn't. So maybe sometimes you should just check on the leaves and see if it wouldn't be better to have a curtain which would prevent direct sun rays to affect your plants. But otherwise, it's really not a drama queen, and I find it really beautiful, and also because it can grow quite tall, that can be impressive. So I do recommend to have this plant in your plant collection. One of most common plants that you see in a lot of homes, and I remember that I was growing up surrounded by this plant, it's spider plant. It can be very abundant, so in one pot they can grow a lot of leaves. So it's very rewarding because it also grows very fast. So for a new plant parent, this is kind of exciting, because it grows fast, and then you are so proud that you are actually supporting your plant and caring for your plant, and it's giving you back all this abundance and life. Spider plant can grow pretty big, and the leaves can get pretty long. So a lot of times it's recommended, especially if you get the big specimen, that you give her a lot of space around. But even if you are a little bit scarce on the space, then you can just prune it and it will be fine. Probably it will just start growing in a couple of days or weeks, new leaves, and it will not be affected very much. Also about the watering regime, it's not a very thirsty plant, but you will see it on the leaves as well. If they will not be looking fresh, you just know that you need to water them a little bit more. But in general, it's not a drama queen. What is important with the spider plant is that the soil has a good drainage, so that the roots don't rot. So apart from that, I think you should have absolutely no problem with it. You can have it in low light, in bright light, it doesn't matter. It will just affect a little bit on how much it will grow, but it can also thrive in low light conditions. So in case your situation is that your room is not the brightest, you can still go for this plant, and it will definitely give you back the joy and the beauty of growth. Next one I wanted to present to you and recommend to you is a plant that we all know. It's Aloe vera. It's a very known plant which can be useful in cosmetics, in medicinal purposes. So it's a very useful plant. It's not just, it depends. If you just want to grow it for decoration, that's fine. But I just wanted to point out that since they grow very fast, and also you can propagate them pretty easy and pretty fast, you can use them for various purposes. Anyhow, as you might know, aloe veras are used to dry climates, so they also are not very thirsty plants, which is good for new plant parents in case they forget to water them. They will not die right away, and even if you forget to water them for a couple of weeks, it will be fine. Just the next time when you remember, just water them and they will be grateful. Also, it's very important that the soil is not like super rich or very humid. So make sure that the potting mix contains a little bit of sand, because that's how they are used to grow. And also make sure that between every watering cycle, the soil dries out. And a lot of times people think, especially if your air in the room is really dry, you could be fooled by touching just the surface of the soil and checking what's the status, because in the dry air, only the surface gets dry, and then if you stick your finger a little bit deeper, then you would actually feel that the soil is still a little bit moist, and that should be fine, especially for aloe vera. You don't have to worry that you will underwater it. So yeah, this is also like a method for new plant parents, how you can check the status of the soil is, you know, get a little bit dirty and just stick your finger into the soil, maybe a centimeter or two, and you will see if your plant needs water or not. And my last recommendation is also a plant that is very common among indoor plant parents, and it's in English it's called the dragon plant. The Latin scientific name is DRACAENA. Actually, I have it right next to me. It's also a plant that it's very easy to care for, and even sometimes if it goes a little bit bad because it was neglected, you can pretty much bring it back to life after just putting some care into it. They love light, but also not very direct light. The leaves might start burning a little bit, so just, you know, whenever you get a new plant that you are not familiar with, I would just recommend that you basically get to know it and you observe it, and it will tell you what she or he needs. So these plants, they do like water, but they don't like to have a very soggy soil, because then it can happen that the roots start rotting. And also, if you see that the leaves are turning yellow, then it means that you are overwatering it. They are pretty easy also to propagate, or in case it would happen that, you know, something goes wrong and sometimes all the leaves would just start falling away. So basically you would have the stem and then just on top a couple of leaves. What you can do, like if you don't like how it looks like from aesthetic point of view, you can basically just cut it and then repot it again, or put it in the water first until it gets a couple of roots, and then put it in the soil. There are various types of DRACAENA. The most common one that people, or you can usually find in garden centers, is the DRACAENA FRAGRANS. But you know, you will see that there are a lot of different varieties. They have like more, they have different colors, different shades on their leaves. So just go with the one that you like the most from aesthetic point, and then the care shouldn't vary so much. But yeah, it's a really nice plant to have for every plant parent that is starting. So those were my 5 recommended plants for new plant parents. I hope and I'm sure you will find them a delight to care for. Let me know if you have any more questions about a certain or particular one that I mentioned, or even if you have any other questions about any other plants that you are struggling with, or you just need any advice, and I will definitely try to help you. Thank you for watching, and if you found this video useful, I would appreciate if you give me a like, even comment if you want to tell me something, and share it with your friends and family. Thank you very much, and have a nice day, plant parents. Be kind to yourself and to your plants.